From WFRV Local 5, your local election headquarters. This is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us for Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. Well, the primaries are past us and now we are focusing on the election coming up in November. One race on our radar is the race for State Assembly District 56 covering Outagamie County. Republican incumbent Dave Murphy is seeking re-election against Democratic challenger Emily Cephas. Now joining us this morning, the incumbent Dave Murphy. Representative, thanks so much for joining us today. Much appreciated.
Good morning, Tom.
You were elected back in 2012 for the first time around. At that time, what were you doing professionally and what was the trigger that made you decide to run for office?
So my career outside of the public sector was I owned a feed and grain business for many years.
Okay.
And then I also owned two fitness centers. And so I had decided that I wanted to get out of that business. And I've always been interested in politics. Came from my dad.
Okay.
I always tell the story about when I was a little kid and we'd be sitting at the supper table. And you know, back in those days, kids didn't get their way quite so much as they do today. And at dinner time, Gilligan's Island was on, but my dad had a much different idea. He wanted to watch Walter Cronkite. And so I ended up watching Walter Cronkite. And, you know, as much as I tried not to let it sink in, it did, Tom.
It did.
I couldn't hold it back. And so I really got to learn a lot about what was going on in the world. And that seemed to lead me towards that direction of being interested in government, being interested in public policy.
So it's been 12 years now you've been doing this public policy gig. Can you point to some of your legislative highlights?
Well, you know, over a 12-year span, there's so many things that you might be able to point to. But, you know, early on, I remember in my first term working on a bill to revise the state library system. And at that time, there had been a problem that the Outagamie County library system was paying out like $35,000 a year to other library systems, but wasn't able to charge them back when they had customers from that county coming into Outagamie County.
Yes.
Yeah, and so we got that fixed, saved Outagamie County library system a lot of money, and I'm very happy to be able to do that. We also did a thing in Outagamie County. At that time, if you remember back in 2012, interest rates were very, very low, and Outagamie County had over $20 million in a trust fund for the Outagamie County landfill to reclaim that landfill after its useful life. Well, they were getting zero return on that $20 million. And to me, as a businessman, having $20 million sitting there and having no return on it was just unacceptable. And so we had to actually change state law to give the county more options in how they could invest that money to be able to make some return on that. And that was hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to Outagamie County to be able to do that. So
you've got your real estate broker's license.
I did. I did. Yes, I got my real estate. I was very young. I got my real estate broker's license when I was 21 years old. I sold real estate for 5 years. We hit that stint sort of at the end of the Carter administration and the beginning of the Reagan administration, where interest rates were sky high.
They were like 12.5.
Oh, yeah, and much higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember some as high as 18. And so I wasn't able to, as a young person, I wasn't able to make enough money with interest rates that high. So that's when I grew up on a dairy farm. I have an agricultural background, so I went into the dairy business. And had a great career in that business. I love working with dairy farmers.
So what did you specifically do when you were in the dairy business, working with dairy farmers?
Well, my main job was in working with nutrition, helping dairy farmers set up the diets for the cows to try to get the highest production at the least cost.
How did you get from ag business into setting up workout facilities?
Well, in 2004, I had the opportunity to sell out my interest in the feed and grain business, and decided I wanted another challenge, and so I went into the fitness business. Had 2 fitness centers, one in Grand Chute, one in Green Bay, for 5 years, and that was very interesting. I learned a lot about running a small business, sort of in the retail area. I'd always been more or less in the wholesale area of business, and this was retail. So
There's much more to come with Dave Murphy right after this, so please stay with us. Welcome back to Newsmaker Sunday. We are joined by State Representative Dave Murphy, who is seeking re-election in the State Assembly District number 56. You're currently the chair on the Assembly Committee for Colleges and Universities. And those educational institutions, as you well know, have run into some problems recently. The closings of UW-Oshkosh Fond du Lac, the Fox Cities campuses. In your estimation, why is that happening? Why are we closing those facilities?
it's because enrollment is declining.
Yeah.
I really feel bad about the UW-Fox Valley. I went there to school myself, and so that's disappointing that has to happen. But the enrollment projections for those institutions going forward are for them to continue to drop. And of course, our high school classes are smaller. And so every year the colleges are trying to recruit new students, and they just have a smaller universe from which to draw. Yeah. I serve on a national task force on college affordability, and we've been working very hard in trying to look at all different ways that we can make college more affordable, and not just more affordable to the student, but also more affordable to the taxpayer by cutting the cost of how they do business. So as the chair of colleges and universities, it's challenging because we would like to see those schools grow every year, but we know that that's going to be very difficult going forward. Now, in the last session, I passed a bill that I was the author of that improved the FAFSA program, which is the federal student loan program for Wisconsin. Now, in Washington, they kind of screwed that up, and they did not have the software set up to appropriately do that. And we had a tremendous, actually, decrease in students applying for student loans because they were being rejected because of the software glitch. This has been a really serious problem for the UW system to try to negotiate this problem.
So where do you stand on loan forgiveness for college students?
I don't think we should do loan forgiveness. I believe that we're sending the wrong message to our young people. We're sending them a message that you make a contract, and that contract is something that you don't have to uphold. Okay. I also believe that students should have some skin in the game. When things are free, that's how they're looked at. They're looked at as something that's not as important. When something costs you something, you appreciate it more. And I just think there needs to be that level of accountability. Now, college should be affordable. And the degree that you get should allow you to get a job that pays enough that you're able to pay those student loans back. But we have a lot of students nowadays that are taking out more loans than they're able to pay back, and that's a problem. One of the interesting things about student loans is it's not large student loans actually that don't get paid back. It's the small ones. And the reason for that, Tom, is that with small student loans, a lot of these are students that went to school and didn't finish. And so they don't have a degree, and yet they still
Have to pay for it.
have to pay for it. Yeah.
Let me touch on some of your other committee assignments and the functions there. The Committee on Campaigns and Elections.
Yes.
What are you doing there?
Well, one of the bills that came out recently that we had a hearing on was ranked choice voting. I'm a strong opponent of ranked choice voting. And, you know, we have a lot of people in this state and the country that are sort of wary of our elections. Are they secure? Are they safe? Is there fraud? Is there not fraud? Adding something like ranked choice voting into the system would cause election results to be delayed. And this is the kind of thing that doesn't improve people's, how these elections are looked upon. Mm-hmm. The more people have to wait, the more that they feel like, what's going on? Is there a problem? So,
we have much more to come with Dave Murphy. Please stay with us right there. Back now with State Representative Dave Murphy. On your campaign website, you list some plans if you're reelected. The first one, preparing students for employment in order to stimulate the economy. Are we not preparing them? Where's the issue there?
Well, besides being the chair of the Colleges and Universities Committee in the Assembly, I also am a founding director of a nonprofit called Free Speech for Campus. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Free Speech for Campus is very interested in is, are the universities doing a good job of preparing students as far as their critical thinking skills are concerned? And we did a series of hearings in our committee last year on free speech. And we talked about whether students, parents, taxpayers, and employers are getting their money's worth from the university system. Mm-hmm. Because many employers are telling us that the students coming to them out of college aren't as well prepared as they should be. And so I'm concerned about making sure that our college students in our UW system are the best and brightest that there are.
Making healthcare, another item here, making healthcare affordable by eliminating unnecessary bureaucracy. What, in your opinion, when it comes to healthcare, where are people getting hit the hardest?
Healthcare is a behemoth.
Yeah.
You know, within state government, the university system is one of the biggest. Well, it is the biggest agency. The university system has the most employees. It has half of all state employees work for the UW system. And then now we go to healthcare, another behemoth in that trying to change that system is so difficult. And there's just a lot of areas in which, you know, I think we're overregulated. I'd like to see the opportunity for people to have more choices in their health care. I want to see people be able to dictate their own health care as much as possible. And it seems like we're getting into a system nowadays where it's just systematic health care. So that's the problem that we have.
Do you ever see the day we will see pharmaceuticals dropping in price across the board, or do the pharmaceutical companies own Congress, so to speak?
Yeah, you know, a lot of that has to do with what happens in Washington. And one of the concerns I've had, and we had some hearings on this, is that one of the reasons that pharmaceuticals cost more in the United States than they do in other parts of the world is that in other parts of the world, they regulate it and they just mandate that these costs be lower. What that does is it shifts the cost of research onto the American taxpayer. And if we said we aren't going to do that, I'm afraid that drug research would really come to a screeching halt. And on one hand, people want low cost. They also want the next miracle drug to be produced. And this is where the dilemma comes in. And that's what makes it difficult.
One more item, and I kind of laughed at this one. Getting road construction back on track through responsible budgeting. I mean, road construction, it's back on track.
Well, and
what did you mean by that?
Well, sometimes I get blamed for being someone who likes to spend a little money on roads, and I've worked on that pretty hard. I was the point man on the Highway 41 upgrade between Appleton and De Pere.
Okay.
And we got that done, and it got it done in record time. When I got into the legislature, upgrading that piece of highway was not in the plan. We got it in the plan, got it funded, and got it moving forward in a very short period of time. The other piece that was important to my district was Highway 15 and the Highway 15 bypass, and that bypass is going to be tremendous for the city of New London. It's going to draw New London much closer to the Fox Valley and make it easier for people in New London to be able to.
Right, it's not that way out community
exactly.
anymore.
It's going to become very close.
Yeah, we are going to wrap up with our guest Dave Murphy this morning when we come back. So please stay with us. We are joined by Wisconsin Assembly District Representative 56, Dave Murphy, this morning. During your time in office, you have won several awards. Yes. Which one or ones are you most proud of?
Probably the one I'm most proud of is when Pro-Life Wisconsin named me their Legislator of the Year. I think it was in 2019. That's something that I'm very proud of.
All right, so that's going to lead me into the next obvious question, the abortion question.
Sure.
Where do you stand? To what degree? Under what conditions?
So I really believe that the Supreme Court decision was absolutely accurate. It was, I don't believe there's anything in the Constitution that says states can't make a law regarding abortion. And so the Supreme Court stepped in and said, yes, we believe that's true, and states now have the right to make that decision. I'm fully pro-life. I believe that life begins at conception. Probably the only question for me is whether we would have exceptions for rape and incest, and I think people make a good case for why we might do that. But yeah, I'm strongly pro-life otherwise.
Where would you lean on those exceptions?
Well, you know, we passed a bill in this last session that would have taken it to the voters of Wisconsin and let them speak out on it in a referendum. And I like that idea. Senator Ron Johnson was the one who actually, I think, came up with that to begin with, saying that we want to let the people speak. Because at the end of the day, I'm pro-life, but I also represent people. And it's my job to read the people and say, okay, I'm going to represent you and do what you think is best. And so that's part of what we're trying to do also, is trying to read the public and to represent them appropriately.
How are our elections? Are we free and fair? Do you have any issues with the way our elections have been run?
Well, I have some issues with how our elections have run. I don't know if there's enough so-called fraud to have changed the outcome of an election.
Right.
But I do think there are things that were done during the 2020 election that were not appropriate. And part of it was they used COVID as a reason to say, well, now we're not going to send voting deputies to nursing homes. We're going to do it in some other way. Well, the law said voting deputies were the way it should be done. So we were actually breaking laws in the 2020 election that we shouldn't, you know.
With the minute and a half I have left, Dave Murphy wants to be reelected to Assembly District 56. Your pitch, sir, as to why voters should return you to Madison.
So, the 12 years of experience that I have, I think have really helped me. I think I'm a better legislator than I was when I first started out. I know a lot more about how to get things done. I have one reason I really want to go back badly is because I have a constitutional amendment that was voted on in the last session of the legislature. And of course, constitutional amendments have to pass 2 consecutive sessions. And so it would come up for a vote again in the next session. I would love to get that done. And that constitutional amendment says that race cannot be you can't be discriminated against because of race when it comes to, well, anything in government, all the way from the state all the way down to local school boards. And so I look forward to that maybe being on the April 2025 ballot.
And we thank you, sir, for being with us this morning.
All right.
Much appreciated.
Thanks, Tom.
Dave Murphy, running for re-election in Assembly District 56. And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7:30. Until then, have a great day.